Clothing is one of the most essential needs of everyday life. As an environmental science major and also an avid consumer of YouTube, I've learned a lot about the fast fashion industry and the effects it has on the environment. In short, our consumeristic tendencies of wanting the latest and greatest with the lowest price allows for fashion industries to pump out cheap, low-quality clothes. However, us as consumers are wearing each piece of clothing less and less. Newsweek in 2016 uncovered that Americans are trashing more clothes than ever. In less than 20 years, the volume of clothing Americans toss each year has doubled from 7 million to 14 million tons, or an astounding 80 pounds per person. The EPA estimates that diverting all those often toxic trashed textiles into a recycling program would be the environmental equivalent of taking 7.3 million cars and their carbon dioxide emissions off the road.
So you may say, oh, I'll just donate it once I'm done. The truth is, they don't really need it either.
Professor Pietra Rivoli, a professor of economics at Georgetown University, stated that people like to feel like they are doing something good, and the problem they run into in a country such as the US is that we don't have people who need clothes on the scale at which we are producing.
For me, I never really thought much about my clothes. It was something that I wore every day just to get by. Though here and there I might see something I like and get. Most of the time my t-shirts were given to me through promotions or events. However, I always thought I was a minimalist when it comes to clothing, until the pandemic hit.
I was in the dorms during spring break when the closure of school was announced. I had 2 days to pack everything I owned into 2 suitcases, a carry-on and a check-in. Yeah, that didn't happen. I ended up with 2 suitcases, a duffel bag, and a moving box. The reason I had so many things? The main thing was clothing, and especially t-shirts. Thankfully, I had friends to hold on to things I couldn't bring back to California. Coming home, I was in for a rude awakening. With the extra week of break, I decided to sort through my shirts. Just t-shirts, with what I wore and what I didn't. It was a lot.
I mean, sure, some of these shirts are way too small for me, and some other shirts are way too large. But we have to admit that this consumption is a bit of a problem. I don't really need 22 shirts, let alone this much.
Everybody's talking about the good old days.
So Andrea Ruse, a PhD student in the Chalmers Institute of Technology in Sweden, analyzed the life cycle of everyday common clothing such as jeans and shirts. Though I was hoping that she would spit out a raw data of how much carbon footprint each of these clothing items had, it was a little more nuanced than that. She stated,
Each of these numbers varies greatly and gives just a small picture of the overall impact.
Though it may be a cop-out answer to the research, the clothing industry varies from fabrics to manufacturing methods to delivery to shipping. However, she was able to provide a breakdown of the environmental damage indicators in each stage of a clothing item, the life cycle, and of course, production is the highest.
Looking back, I took so many t-shirts just because they were free and ended up with crappy quality shirts that I would never wear. Not only do these shirts take up room, but it also is contributing to polluting the earth. As much as production pollutes, so does disposal. Studies have found microfibers everywhere, from wastewater plants to digestive tracts of market fish, and even in air samples. With this knowledge, why do we still continually make new shirts?
As a society, we love commemorating memories and events on shirts, whether it's school events or some random apartment tour I went on that frankly I can't even afford. So the question becomes, how can we capture memories without using so much material in shirts? Only there's something that we can use to remind ourselves of things that happen. Though the fast fashion industry isn't going away anytime soon, neither is the novelty of getting free shirts. We as consumers can instead change our mindsets from mindlessly consuming to mindfully consuming. So, the next time you're thinking of buying a shirt or grabbing that free shirt, think to yourself, do I need another shirt? Because I certainly don't.